Hey guys, so my name is Courtney, and I guess this will be my first video because I decided to start a channel because I had two cool experiences happen in the last month and a half. And I thought, well, this is like stuck inside of me, I need to share it because I see people sharing stuff all the time. But I also want to do more than that, I want to do other topics. But today, I want to share an experience that I had actually just last night. My parents are home. So anyways, yeah, I don't like talking when my parents can hear. I get really uncomfortable. That's my low confidence though. And we're gonna get over that. Anyways, what I was saying is, just yesterday, I know many of you hate even just the name Jacob Sartorius because you're or he has no talent, or you don't deserve to be famous, go drink bleach. No. Even when I'm not crazy about him in any way, but I care about him. I've cared about him for 2 years now. I never was like, oh my god, Sartorius, yeah, I don't know. I was never crazy, but I just remember back in 2014, this kid, Jacob Sartorius, posted out about bullying, and I was like, oh, that really touched me. Not like I've been bullied to the point of depression and stuff, but I get it, and I know other people's stories, and it affects me just hearing it. And so I was like, oh, this kid, he's a good kid, and I see that he's been through it, and it's good that he's reaching out to others and trying to prevent it and stuff. So that really meant a lot to me, and I was like, oh, I care about this guy, he's cool. And I kind of just kept an eye on him over the past 2 years now, and he started doing, since he obviously didn't know what to do. He woke up and he had 3 million revines on that vine, and so obviously a kid, when they wake up and see that many people, he can't even fathom it. So of course he took it to another level, and he started just posting funny, interesting videos on his vine because he had an audience now. It's what else are you supposed to do? So of course he ended up getting bigger and bigger, and I was like, dang, I never took the chance to reach out to this guy and tell him how much that meant, and that honestly I had a silly little crush on him, and he was in Virginia, so I feel as if I've missed my chances on that. But Jacob, if you ever watch this, I'm single. I think you're single. We could connect anytime. We live near each other, so remember that. But no, it's not the point. It's more than that. So anyways, I just cared about this kid over the past 2 years, and I never really made it known, but he was just someone I thought about. And so whenever I pass through the DC area, I'm oh, I see signs for Herndon and Reston, and I'm like, that's where Jacob Sartorius lives. He lives in Reston. We should go sometime. And I just kind of say it, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. But recently, I've really been thinking about him, and I was thinking oh, I missed my chances to be a part of his life and stuff. So, but I really just also wanted him to know that I just support him, and that's the main thing. I support him, and that's it. And so I wanted to give him something to show him that, or at least just give him my words. So when I was going through there just yesterday, I begged my parents to stop. I was like, look, I have my own money with me. I was like, there's tolls to get in there, I'll pay for that. And when we get there, can I go to a bookstore, even just Walmart, just get something for him that I can express my feelings on, and put how I feel onto paper and give it to him, instead of social media, everything. And first they were oh, another thing, because I always ask for things. I'm young, I ask for a lot of stuff. And so they were kind of really, Courtney? Really? But they knew it meant a lot to me, and they knew it was a good thing. It wasn't just some annoying little thing that isn't necessary. It was something that I don't know how to describe it. They just knew it had meaning behind it. So they ended up letting me do all that, and I actually know where he lives thanks to one of my friends, Nina. Shout out to you. She's not a stalker, but we care about him, and he lives in Virginia, so why not know where he lives? Anyways, she was like on the phone with me, and we were both like freaking out. I was like, oh my god, I'm actually doing this. Like, I could meet Jacob today and tell him how I feel. And so she sent me the address, and she's like on the phone with me, and I ended up getting him, well, I got him a few things I'll insert either to the end of the video or right here when I go back and edit. So if I edited it, it should be like right here, somewhere in here. I'll show you what I got for him. But basically, I wrote him a letter, and it kind of just explained myself. I was like, look, I've been here since 2014, and I saw you kind of grow up a little bit in the spotlight. And yeah, I just wrote what I felt was meaningful and needed to be said. So I go to his house with these gifts in that letter, and I have no confidence at all. So my parents are like, we're here, we brought you this way, you need to go up there. They're like, just don't think about it, go knock on the dude's door. So I'm kind of freaking out now inside, and I thought it was all like cool until I got there, but I'm freaking out because I'm like, I'm here, Jacob's in there, or if he's not in there, his family's probably in there. And I'm just like, oh my god, this is real, like, I'm here. And so anyways, he's a normal guy, it's okay. So I was like, I want to do something normal and knock on his door and hand deliver it to him, because that's more like authentic than typing it up and sending it via like Instagram or Twitter, which I do also, don't get me wrong, but it's cool to be able to do it in person. So I get there, and I actually walk up, and you can see straight through the door into their living room, and I see his dad there. So I'm like, oh my god, I can't turn around now. I see his dad. Like, his dad sees me. He was actually, I interrupted him. He was just chilling and reading the newspaper. And he sees me, obviously, and he looks kind of annoyed. And I, like, kind of just look, and I haven't even knocked yet, but he sees me. So he just kind of looks at me, and I'm like, oh god, I feel guilty now. He looks at me like he doesn't want me to be here. And then I finally just knock nicely, because what else am I supposed to do? And so he puts his newspaper down, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm upsetting him. And he takes off his glasses and like sets the newspaper down, and he like looks like he's sighing, like really. But he comes over to the door, and he opens it, and he kind of just looks at me, and I go, like, I had all these doubts rushing in my mind. I go, this is Jacob's house, right? And he goes, yes, it is. And then that moment I felt so bad, because you could tell this is probably something that's been happening to them a lot recently, like crazy girls coming to their door. But so I went on to say, I was like, I know you probably get this a lot, and I know it's gotta be like annoying. And he's just still looking at me, and I'm like, but I have something for him. And he looks down at the stuff, and he looks really appreciative, and like he finally cracks that like flat expression that he had on his face, and he kind of like gets a little more personable, and he's kind of like, oh, that means so much, like, thank you. And I give it to him, right? And we're just kind of looking at him. So I just like look into the man's eyes, and I'm like, you have a great son. And I started to get emotional. I didn't know I was gonna get emotional, but I was like, you have a great son, and I just want him to know that, like, he's doing a great job handling all this. And a tear falls down my face, and I'm like, everything he's doing, like, what he's doing with his position, and like he's doing good stuff with his position. Like, he's not flaunting, he's going out and saying what he's been through and trying to help others. And I just kind of tell his dad that, because, like, first of all, he was bullied through the past few years at school, mostly his 7th grade year, and that's gotta be hard as a parent, seeing your kid, like, my mom's singing, but anyways, that's gotta be hard, like, being a parent of a kid that's coming home every day probably, like, in tears and just, like, emotionally distraught because other people don't know how to act, and other people are, like, degrading him and, like, emotionally just, like, tearing him down and stuff, and verbally and physically abusing him. It's gotta be rough as a parent to see. So when I said that to his dad, like, when I kind of just got raw with him and I wasn't asking anything of him, he kind of looked at me and he didn't, like I said, he didn't have that flat expression anymore on his face. He was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I thought he was gonna cry. And that's when I started crying. And I was just like, oh my god, like I just like touched. I think I had an impact on him a little bit, because it wasn't like I showed up at his house and asked for things. I showed up at his house and I said what I was feeling, and I wanted him to know that I supported him and I was proud of him, and that's it. I wasn't like, can I meet Jacob? Can I take pictures? I didn't even bring my phone. Like, I brought it. It was in my pocket though when I went to the door. I didn't take it out or anything. I never even took a picture of his house. Like, part of me regrets that because I'm like, oh, it was cool I was there. But no. Live in the moment, and I was present, and I did it, and now I have an actual memory in my head. And people can believe me or they can't. Doesn't matter. I lived it. I know. And yeah, that was just an awesome experience. So, Jacob, if you got your stuff, I love you, and I hope you like it. And yeah, for you guys, I'll insert a picture or something. And if not, I'll put my social medias down below, and it's on my social media. But yeah, I just wanted to share that experience with you because it was really cool for me, and I'm sure some of you that may like him will think that's a cool experience. Maybe. I'm not trying to flaunt in any way. I just meant a lot to me to be able to talk to one of his loved ones and tell him how I felt, and like show that I care for him, and I'm not saying I care for him to get to him because he's famous. Like, I could care less about the fame. Congratulations, Jacob, and it's awesome that you've gotten so far, but I view you as you, and that's the most important part. So yeah, I don't know if I got too deep in this, but if you're still watching right now, thank you. That was weird, but yeah, I don't know why I'm still talking. So next week or sooner than that, because I have no life, I'll probably be uploading another video. But I hope you liked this one, and I hope it wasn't like too long and like something you don't care about. But yeah, so see you on the flip side. Follow me on my social media accounts if, I don't know. You don't need to listen to me, but if you want to, they'll be down below. Peace. Bye. Thanks for watching.